I'm Rochelle, a librarian at Tower Road Branch Library. Today I'll be showing you how to do zombie makeup. For your look, you will need to decide a few things. I've included some of those questions in the accompanying blog post that you can find at the following address. But with current times, one very important question to ask yourself is, will you need to wear a mask while in makeup? For this tutorial, I'll be wearing a mask. In addition to safety, a pro to wearing a mask is that you don't have to cover the lower half of your face with makeup. The biggest con, obviously, is not being able to show off those zombie chompers. I think you can still make it scary though. You will need a few items: school glue, toilet paper, you will also need makeup. Here's a variety of cream makeup that you can get at most stores during the Halloween season, as well as some more advanced makeups that you can get at specialty stores around the same time. You also have the option of using any makeup that you may have on hand. And for your finishing touch, you will want to get some blood. There are 3 types: gel, vampire, and splatter spray. I recommend gel for your long dead zombie and vampire blood for a fresh kill. For the look I'm showing you today, we're going to use the inexpensive cream makeups that you can get pretty much anywhere. We are using white, black, brown, and green. To begin, you'll use the toilet paper and glue to create areas of rotting flesh and wounds on your face and body. Pick the location for a wound and begin applying some glue to the area. Place a piece of toilet paper over the wet glue. The toilet paper will act as skin that can be torn and reshaped, creating a gruesome 3D effect. While the glue is wet, you can create tears, gashes, and other wounds. Once the glue is dry, you can pick the edges away as you don't want any straight lines. Use glue to tack down any edges you want to blend in with your skin. It is important to remember when you're working that there is no one way or perfect way to do this. Zombies are gross and messy. Perfection isn't important here. There are different wounds that you can create: the bite mark that turned you, gashes, tears, or chunks of flesh that may have been taken over the years. I've made a total of 4 wounds out of 6 to 8 sheets of toilet paper. I made peeling flesh and a gash on my forehead, a bite wound on my forearm, and a chunk of flesh out of my hand. I encourage you to experiment with making wounds before you try your final look. A note about safety: school glue and toilet paper are non-toxic substances and should be relatively safe on your skin. It may cause some itching, but should not cause any irritation. Just think back to your elementary school days and the joy of getting glue all over your hands. However, you should avoid gluing your eye areas. Once you have completed the toilet paper skin step, you need to let it dry before moving on to the next step. For the next step, you need to break out your makeup. I use a paper plate for a mixing palette and my fingers for brushes. Again, remember you aren't looking for any semblance of perfection. You can use any kind of cream makeup. If you have any foundation that is a lighter color than your own skin tone, you can use that as well. I like to use the cream makeup as I feel it is easier to mix a few colors and it blends well. I use white and black to make 2 different gray tones. Use the black and gray tones around the eyes for a sunken eye look for an aged zombie. You can use black and greens on arms or hands to create a rotting limb look. Use the brown and white, or just the brown, to create a color that is a few shades lighter and more pallid than your own skin tone for your face and to cover the toilet paper wounds. There is no right mixing ratio as everyone's skin color is slightly unique. And you can use some of the green to add to various wounds and to create a gross pus-like effect. Play around with your makeup a bit before you settle on that final look. For the hand wound, make a large circle of glue. Do not fill it in. Then gently rip a small tear in the center. Use a second piece of toilet paper and repeat the process, applying the glue over the original circle. If you want one more layer, you can add one, but 2 layers should be enough to create a 3D effect. This needs to dry thoroughly before you can move on to the second part. Once dry, rip the center area, carefully pulling outward until you have a small hole. Pull the edges in and tap the creases down with glue, and use bits of paper to help blend the edges into your skin. Or you can pick off the edges around the circle and tap stray paper down with glue so that it also blends into the skin. So a nice effect that you can do with this is you can create a tendon. You do that by twisting a piece of toilet paper into a thin roll and placing it in the hole that you have created in your hand with the toilet paper. Make sure that when you are applying makeup that you are careful around that if you glue before you start your makeup process. As I mentioned before, there are 3 types of blood. Today I'm using the gel as my zombie has been dead a while and it will pretty much stay where I put it. You can use a Q-tip to place blood in places that are too narrow for your finger. Make sure you remember to add multiple teeth marks on your bite wound if you decide to make it. Remember that a little blood actually goes a long way. I only used about a tablespoon of blood for this look. Zombies have messy hair. If your hair is long enough, tease it like this, and it will give you a really good, gnarly look. Now it's time to perfect the last step.